Hello, welcome back to Blue and Red Meeple Board Games. I'm Jenny, and today we're going to talk about two Friedemann Friese games that I enjoy playing. The first game we're going to talk about is Fabled Fruit. This is a really fun game, but we started playing with our kids, I'd say when they were about elementary school. So basically, you're going to be having these different location cards, and this is a game that it's played over time. So whenever you decide to end the first game, you'll start where you left off the next game. So the deck has cards numbered from 1 into, I don't know, I think it's in the 70s. That number, you don't shuffle the cards, they'll stay in order. And as you play, you're going to be going through them, revealing new cards that have new powers and abilities, which will enable you to acquire fruits, which you use to buy cards to make juice. And the winner of the game is the person who makes the required number of fruits first. So what you'll do is you'll lay out 6, so you'll have 6 locations cards out. Each player is going to have one of these really nice little wooden animal meeple tokens. So you choose which animal you're going to use. There's also a little marker in front of you if you need to keep track of whose player is whose. So these are the different animals. There are also some fruit tokens. So sometimes a card will give you the ability to acquire a fruit. So you can use this in addition to the fruit cards that you have in your hand. And then there are wild fruits, like this. And then there's some other little things that come into play as you go. There are rules, and then there are descriptions of all of the cards, but it's a game where you don't read ahead because you don't want to know what's coming up in the deck. So you'll be taking turns laying on different locations with your animals. This one, for example, says draw fruits from the stack. So 2 fruits, so you'd add those to your hand when you have the required number of fruits. This one, it's 3 pineapples and a wild. Then you can, on your turn, instead of moving to a location, you buy a card, and then in front of you, you'd flip it down with your fruit, so you're on your way to victory. Basically, that's just how the game continues. It does on the box say it's 25 minutes per game, but really, there isn't like an end. So you can just stop when you want to stop, and then you pick up where you left off the next game, and you just continue until you've gotten all the way through the deck. Also, the number of fruits that are required to win does depend on the player count, and it is a 2 to 5 player game. I know a lot of times I didn't want the game to end, so sometimes at the beginning I'd say, instead of, say, 3 fruits, I'd say, okay, we're going to go for 4 fruits. Or if maybe the kids weren't really in the mood for playing so much that day, I'd say, okay, you only have to get 2 fruits. So it really, the game, it's a pretty short game, but you can make it longer if you want to make it longer. You can make it shorter if you want to make it shorter, just sort of depending on, the mood of the evening. It's a really fun game. I don't hear much about it, and I don't know. I know that my family really enjoyed playing it. It's probably more of a family type game, but if anyone asked me to play it, I would absolutely be in. It's a lot of fun. But I'm not going to show you too many cards because that would ruin the game. So, Fabled Fruits, Friedemann Friese. The next game I'm going to talk about is Findorff. And this is actually based on one of the districts in the town where Friedemann Friese grew up. So it's sort of a game near and dear to his heart. This game doesn't take up too much space. Findorff, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a table hog. The board, as you can see, is quite big. But basically, what you're going to be doing is on the game, you are going to be acquiring resources to pay for buildings, to build buildings, filling in the town, and then also completing the railroad track here. So there are a lot of different ways you can win with this game. By building, you can buy and sell resources, building the train tracks. Everyone will start out with one of these cards, which denotes your actions. So you have 4 different actions here. Let me just get this board a little bit out of the way here. All right. So on your turn, the first action is purchase. And that's where you can purchase actually these tokens, which are going to give you additional actions in future turns. So say if I purchased a purchase, then the next time, as long as I had whatever was required to pay for it, I could do that action twice. I think there are up to 3, so you have the potential going forward to do one action multiple times on a turn. The next one is the hire action, the 2 people there. And that's where you are going to hire additional workers, which are going to allow you to do more actions because you need people to do actions. And then there's the produce right here. And that's where you're going to get resources. And then sell. So you can sell your peat to get money. Once you've completed all of those actions, you go into your bureaucracy phase. And there's a nice little player aid here that tells you exactly what to do. So that's where you are going to earn for the houses you've placed and for the railroads you've placed. And then also you'll gain income from cards that you have built. I'll give you an example of some of those cards. So what you're going to be building for are things like this. So there's specific different buildings. This is the cost. As you can see, it's the money and then the resources that you have to pay. Once you have this in your tableau, when you get to this phase, you'll get to collect 20 money. That's a really good card. They're not all, sometimes it's maybe 3 or 4, but you can see it's more expensive. So obviously the more expensive, the better the rewards that you're going to reap. Some of them allow you to gain resources. So in this case, each time you did the produce phase, you get a cobalt, or peat. And for this one, you can see there's 2 different things. So this is an instant action, placing a house. And then during the income phase, you'd get 3 money. So there are just different cards like that. They aren't all used on a turn. It depends on the player count again. And this one you can play solo as well as multiplayer. And it does move fairly quickly. Of course, any game is going to take a little bit longer the more people that are playing. But I just really love, I don't know exactly what it is about this game, but once I played it like multiple times in a row, just trying to beat my score. It's just fun. The train track will be filling up. There's this track for the cobalt. I'll fold this down here on the side. So you start with a certain number depending on the player count. And then as you purchase it, it'll go down. And then you sell it, you place it back up. There's a kind of a market system here. So the money that you pay and that you will get for selling it is going to change depending on where it is on the track. So the less there is, the more you'll get if you sell it. But of course, when it's full up, you're not going to get very much. So there's some strategy there too in deciding when to buy, when to sell. And sometimes you just need money, so you don't have a choice. You just have to take what you can get. But also during this income phase here at the end, even if you spent all of your money, on your turns, earlier turns, you have a chance to get money back here, so you don't have to worry about starting the beginning of your next turn with no money. And even if you did, sometimes there are actions at the beginning where you can get money as well. So it can be a benefit sometimes to spend all your money on maybe a higher price item thing, even if it leaves you with nothing, because if you have in your tableau enough cards that will give you income, then you'll be just fine on the next round. Let me see. On the box it says 75 minutes. Probably depending on the player count, I would say yes. Playing it solo, it probably, I don't know, I could probably do it in less than an hour. But that is another really fun game, one that I don't hear about very much. I don't know, Friedemann Friese has some really good games. And I think I have 5 of his games. This is just 2 of them. I like all the other ones just as much, but this one I've been playing fairly recently. I haven't played this one for a while, just because the kids are bigger. We haven't gotten to it, but I did buy, there's also a lime expansion, which we have not played with yet, which adds another fruit, limes, and some other cards. So I am kind of excited to give that a try as well. So hopefully I'll get that one to the table soon with the expansion. But for today, those are the games I'm going to talk about. We've got Fabled Fruits and Findorff. Please let me know if you have any comments about these games or any other Friedemann Friese games that you think I should talk about. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, keep playing games. Goodbye.